Willkommen in Österreich. Welcome to Austria. Ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to the 2019 European Inventor Award here in Vienna. And a special welcome to all of you watching our live stream or on Servus TV or on Science et Vie. My name is Fernando Tiberini, and I'm delighted to welcome you all to Austria's magnificent capital. For centuries, the beating heart of a multi-ethnic, multilingual empire, and even today, host to numerous international institutions and UN agencies. Vienna is highly rated for its innovation culture, urban planning, and quality of life. And here by the beautiful Danube, we can appreciate why. Vienna has been the home to a dazzling array of creative geniuses over the years. From composers like Mozart, Haydn, Mahler and Strauss, to painters like Klimt and Hundertwasser, to philosophers like Wittgenstein and Popper, and to scientists like Boltzmann, Schrödinger and Semmelweis. And let us not forget the celebrated Viennese cuisine, from Tafelspitz to Wiener Schnitzel, from Apfelstrudel to Marillenknödel, from Palatschinken to, of course, the Sachertorte, invented here in 1832 by Franz Sacher, whose son Eduard went on to found the Sacher Hotel on the strength of the cake's reputation. I'm not making you hungry, am I? I only meant to whet your appetite for inventors and inventions, so let's start with the show. I'd like to welcome all their excellencies and all the finalists who have joined us here today, as well as all of you, ladies and gentlemen, our distinguished guests. And I'd like to extend a very special welcome to our gracious host, the President of the European Patent Office, Mr. Antonio Campinos. Please come on stage to start the 2019 European Inventor Award.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to everyone here and to all those watching online and on TV. We are delighted you could join us for what is the 14th edition of this European Inventor Award, and for an event that has become one of the highlights in the innovation calendar. Each year it attracts more and more public attention, and 2019 has been no exception. In the last few months, videos of our inventors have received over 13 million views on social media, which is a great testament to the finalists and their work. I want to start by thanking everyone who has played a role in this Inventor Award. And that begins with recognizing the work of all our examiners and formality officers, and everyone who supports them throughout the many departments of the EPO, not forgetting the boards of appeal. They are the ones we need to thank for the patents and services our innovators rely on. And without their efforts, we simply wouldn't be in a position to hold this award today. There are also lots of people at the EPO who've played a part specifically in organizing this event. I don't have time to list them all now, but I hope they know who they are and that we are very grateful for everything you've done to make this event a success. But no matter what we do at the EPO, we couldn't hold this ceremony without the help of many others outside the office. Our member states, user associations, colleagues from throughout the innovation community, and members of the public have all put forward inventions, inventors, resulting in over 470 exceptional proposals. And it goes without saying, we are very grateful for the work of our international jury, which has given us 15 brilliant finalists. Thank you all for donating your time and expertise. I think they deserve a big round of applause. This work and the work of everyone involved is helping us to shine a light on innovation and some truly outstanding inventors. When I was learning about their inventions and what they've accomplished, I was struck by their sense of purpose, by the way they set out in a mission. And we simply cannot underestimate the importance of that work, because those endeavors are having a huge impact on our lives. Their innovations generate great benefits for our economy. They create jobs, contribute to higher wages, and increase our GDP and exports. But it's far from being about financial gain. It's clear the inventors here today set out to make a world a brighter place, safer, smarter, more sustainable. Some of them took on the challenge of combating deadly diseases. Others have discovered new methods to mitigate our environmental impact. Then there are advances in agricultural technology, efforts to kickstart global connectivity, and the emergence of a new, safer era in road transport. And whatever the field, they're all changing our understanding of what we thought possible, and they are advancing the frontiers of science. As Archimedes of Syracuse said, "Give me a lever and a place to stand, I'll move the earth." And that is exactly what our finalists have done. Today, we want to fulfill part of our mission in telling you more about their achievements, to tell the stories of these men and women who are making great strides in innovation, science, and research. Stories of perseverance, stories of ingenuity, and ultimately, stories of what we believe are great contributions to our society. I am sure that by the time this event finishes, you too will also have a deep appreciation of how their work is leading to a better world for all of us. So I will finish by saying, whoever is selected as the winner in each category, they all deserve our respect and admiration. Just to be selected as a finalist is already a great achievement. We wish you the very best of luck, and I hope we will all enjoy this 14th edition of the European Inventor Award. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Campinos. All our finalists are brilliant scientists and engineers, advancing human knowledge in their own fields with their breakthroughs. Their inventions are protected by European patents. But have you spared a thought for how their patents came to be granted? Now, the examiners of the European Patent Office face some mind-boggling paradoxes when trying to assess if an alleged invention really is new and deserving of a patent. So here are 3 examiners explaining just how cunning they have to be.
Searching.
We are all looking for something.
For some of us, the thrill of the hunt is our daily job. Seeking, finding, discovering.
Inventors are searching too. They search for inventions.
They search for new markets.
They search for investors and licensees.
And they come to the EPO looking for high quality and timely search results.
They need to know if their inventions really are new and deserving of a patent.
They rely on what we find to base their important business decisions to give them early certainty.
At the EPO, we have much better tools.
And much better strategies for searching through patents and technical records from all over the world. We search for the patentability of inventions.
But any search for the novelty of an invention is by its nature a paradox. So here's the puzzle.
or to search for a reference that is believed not to exist. To be patentable, a new product or process must never have been publicly disclosed before the application was filed. The inventor is convinced that their invention is new, that there's nothing quite like it anywhere in the world. EPO examiners are problem solvers first and foremost. We are all scientists and engineers, trained to think laterally, to decide upon the most relevant places to search. And we have digital access to global collections of data, including over 50 million patent documents from Japan, China and Korea, as well as millions of standards documents.
How to recognize a reference describing the invention in a different context or vocabulary. We got the right digital search tools and strategies to solve this puzzle too. No matter where a patent document has been published, and however described in whatever language, it will have been classified according to technology type. The EPO has developed the world's most refined classification system for patents, jointly with the US Patent and Trademark Office, and over 20 other offices now use it too. Regardless of language, documents describing the same technology will be classified using the same term. And to help us understand documents from everywhere, Patent Translate works in 32 languages.
And the final paradox: if despite all this data and all these tools, no relevant references are found, how can we tell the search is complete? That's what friends are for. We work together, calling on the expertise and knowledge of our colleagues to leave no stone unturned. And when it comes to the important decision as to whether or not to grant or refuse a patent application, it's three of us who must agree. We search exhaustively every day to ensure that patents are granted only for new and non-obvious inventions.
Our solid searches and written opinions are transparent and reliable.
They are the basis for robust European patents with legal certainty in up to 44 countries.
The EPO has over 4,300 examiners, detectives like Sherlock Holmes. So now you know, they really are finding the needle in the haystack every day. So now the time has come, ladies and gentlemen, to discover who will be taking home one of 6 trophies today. It's time to discover who the winners are. There are many prizes for science or innovation, but the European Inventor Award is unique in celebrating not only the inventor's contribution to scientific and technological progress, but also the benefits to society and the economy, improving our lives and creating jobs. Our finalists come from diverse backgrounds, some working in major companies, others in their own businesses. They represent the great variety of circumstances in which innovation is nurtured. Therefore, the trophies will be presented in the following categories: industry, research, non-EPO countries, small and medium-sized enterprises, and lifetime achievement. Before we reach the last category, we will present a special trophy to the inventor selected by you, the public, in the Popular Prize. Let us begin with the first category for outstanding and successful inventors whose inventions have been patented by large European companies. From the Netherlands, Alexander van der Lely and Karel van den Berg. From Spain, Antonio Corredor Morguero and Carlos Fermín Menéndez Díaz. Mr. Corredor is here on behalf of them both. And from Austria, Klaus Feichtinger and Manfred Hackel. And now, let's learn about their achievements. But before, let's hear what the EPO examiners have to say about their inventions.
They have 289 European patents between them and developed an entirely new way of dairy farming. It's big data meets agriculture.
Aukje gives very tasty milk and is a very happy cow. Aukje can move freely in the barn and she can be milked whenever she likes it.
Freedom of the cows was our highest priority when we developed the milking robot.
Ja, een high-tech machine that milks cows fully, automatically, 24/7, without human interaction.
Also, the farmer enjoys that freedom. He can plan his day like he wants to do. And this means that next generations of farmers also are more willing to join to do the work on a farm.
We call the system astronaut because the astronaut is connected with a single cord to the spaceship when he is free in space.
And so is the teat cup of the cow connected to the machine.
This cord was my first invention.
At the beginning, our system was a little bit out of space for the conventional farmers. So to enter the market at the beginning, we licensed our patents also to competitors. The goal was to have this revolution in farming quicker accepted by the marketplace. And it worked.
Sometimes we joke that the cows accept the robot quicker than the farmer.
It took us 8 years to develop the milking robot, and thereafter 10 years to introduce it to the marketplace. And this also changed our company completely. We moved from a machine manufacturer to a company focusing on robotics and data. We want to help farmers to create food for us as consumers in ways that are more profitable, more enjoyable, and more sustainable, while giving back the freedom to the cows.
These are happy cows.
There are two key aspects. One is the substantial reduction in constructional costs, up to 45%. The other is the QB-pod's potential to protect coastlines against the effects of climate change.
Some inventions protect on a personal scale, but I work on a bigger scale, protecting whole harbors. Each QB-pod weighs 6 tons, but we need thousands of them. Traditional breakwaters are easy to make with regular cubes, but they have one problem. Through the action of the waves, the blocks slowly settle face to face. Waves can ramp up and over. QB-pods have protrusions on each face to prevent them self-packing. It ensures that there are always gaps to absorb the waves and dissipate their energy. The shape was originally invented by the Polytechnical University of Valencia. My company Sato licensed their patent to try to find a way to realize this special shape. Our invention was a more efficient mold that saves hundreds of thousands of euros in construction costs, and it can be opened without being moved. The mold is really a very clever tool. Mr. Menendez was at this time the foreman of the site. With his experience and my knowledge on design, calculation, and structural resistance, our company Sato was granted an European patent for our mold. Now harbors and people are better protected. When I started this job, I thought it was just work. But now I see how important my work is for the people living on the coast.
Thinking the other way around might be the key in answering one of the most difficult environmental questions. What do we do with plastic waste? These inventors already have a solution.
Plastic is not a bad thing.
If we change the way how we handle plastic after use. Circular economy, as it is shown from the paper industry, is the right way also for the plastic industry.
Our machine recycles plastic into pellets without any harm for the environment. These pellets are used afterwards to produce new products for our daily life.
In the mechanical recycling process, we had sometimes, with special materials like fibers, an issue, and we had no ideas how we could solve this issue.
The invention came out of 15 minutes clever thinking the other way around. And then I had it. We changed the direction of the cutter compactor in the opposite flow of the extrusion system. This leads to a better filling and smoother filling of the screw. This leads to a higher performance. That's the idea, so simple.
The patented technology now is used in our machines all over the world for high output, better quality and the process stability increase.
For the economic success, patents play a major role. The patent is an inspiration, the source for new ideas. You can realize how problems are solved by other people, and it gives you new concepts, new ways to solve your own.
Our mission is another life for plastic because we care.
We only have to change the direction.
Change our thinking.
Change the handling of plastic after use.
Change the circular economy in the plastic industry.
To present the award in the industry category, I'd like to invite on stage Ms. Mariana Karipova, President of the Austrian Patent Office, as well as Ambassador Helmut Tichy, Legal Advisor of the Austrian Ministry of Europe Integration and Foreign Affairs. Please come on stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner in the category Industry is
Klaus Feichtinger and Manfred Hackel.
Our first winners, Klaus Feichtinger and Manfred Hackel. Big round of applause. Please come up on stage. If you don't mind, I'd like to ask you a few questions. If you could step forward a little bit. Yeah, thank you very much. Now, first of all, herzliche Gratulation. I have a first question for you, Mr. Hackel. So plastic pollution is finally getting global attention. Now, but plastic recycled products are still unfairly regarded as inferior. Now, can public opinion be turned around?
I think the public opinion has to be turned around, and I think we do not know how many products we have already today in our hands with recycled products out of it, and we have to bring this to the people, to the right understanding. It is possible circular economy in the plastic industry.
So your goal is to bring that to the same level of acceptance as the paper industry. Now, how will patents help you achieve this goal?
The patents is always good to be one step ahead in the technology, because the recycling industry is quite new and you have to bring in new technology to solve that.
Mm-hmm. Now I have a question for Feichtinger. Now, do you see the main role of your machines being pellet factories or performing waste management?
First of all, I must tell you thank you. I'm really emotionalized, actually, to be honest. Not so easy to answer. I think we are part of the game, and since we have to focus on what we have to see, we can try to motivate. Or even with such an event, we can show people, play with us, do. And the plastic industry is on the way, that we realized. We are both working now 24, 26 years in this business, and dramatically things have changed during the last 4 years. So we are part of the game, and honestly, it is not relevant if we are making pellets or something, whatever. We play with them and we bring up results, and we have to do our job on this row.
Yeah, it's really impressive. Now, with new material combinations constantly appearing in products, how does that push you to become more innovative?
Yeah, for sure. Reality is that designers are coming to new ideas, packaging, whatever. And so new solutions must be found to handle these more complicated or whatever materials. And I think this is possible, and this invention was a part of the game again. This helps us to pelletize or produce good quality out of more complicated materials.
Yeah, it's always good to have some obstacles to get to new inventions.
No, you have to go on. There's no time to stay. So we have a lot to do in the future too.
Great. Thank you very much. Big round of applause again. Would you please step over for the photographs? Please face this way. Oh, there's the photographer. Our heroes of the circular economy with 37 granted European patents between them. And it's astonishing to think how the 6,000 EREMA systems around the world produce 14.5 million tons of plastic pellets every year, ready to make new products. All right, please retake your seats. The winners of the industry category, Klaus Weichtinger and Manfred Hackel. Without further ado, we will now move on to the second category, research. Honoring pioneering inventors who work at universities or research institutions. This year's finalists are, from France, Jérôme Gallon. From Germany, Matthias Mann. And from Italy, Patrizia Paterlini Bresciot. Now let's take a look at their inventions. And before, we're going to hear again some EPO examiners and see what they have to say about them.
This invention is a game changer because the key to saving millions of lives is to have a proper and precise diagnosis.
My lab here in Paris is actually in a former cloister, and these buildings were protecting the monks and their gardens. Our immune system is protecting us in a very different way. It's not static like these old stones. In fact, it's very dynamic. Well, actually, you know, there are more T cells in our body than there are stars in the night sky. When I started working on cancer, the field of cancer was mostly about the tumor cells. But for me, as an immunologist, it was absolutely obvious that the immune system had to play a role in cancer. Thanks to my senior position at INSERM, I was able to start this long and risky project. I knew it would take a long time and involve a multidisciplinary team. it's a completely new way of looking at cancer patients. We are now looking at their immune system rather than looking at their tumor cells. A digital scanner takes images of all the tumor samples, and then our software is counting every single T cell. Then our software calculates the immunoscore of an individual patient. By knowing how active is their immune system, now we can predict if a patient is at high risk or low risk of recurring cancer. This enables doctors not only to classify more precisely cancers, but also to give the patients the most effective therapies without over-treating them. Immunoscore is on the way to become a new standard for cancer classification.
As a patent examiner at the European Patent Office, I've been very fortunate to discover incredible inventors that break new ground. Matthias Mann is definitely one of them, and maybe one of the most brilliant ones. His invention is nowadays used in many labs worldwide.
The future is happening now. By analyzing the human proteome, that is the set of all the proteins, we'll be able to detect and diagnose diseases much better than before. 20 years ago, people thought it was enough to study the genome of an organism, but the genome is largely fixed at birth, so it doesn't change over the life course of an organism. But now we know that it's really in the proteome where all the action happens. Like with these creatures, they have the same genome but very different proteomes. It's clear which tells you more about the real shape of the organisms. Over the last 25 years, I've been working on methods to analyze the proteome. What we do is we take the proteins from the patients and we chop them up into small pieces called peptides, and those peptides get separated on very fine columns. At the end of those columns, they are electrosprayed and they're brought into a mass spectrometer where they're counted and identified by fragmenting them. For the quantification, we use the SILAC method, and this introduces a subtle mass shift by heavy isotopes, and with this, we can perfectly quantify the proteins. And we use the clinical knowledge graph to map them onto known diseases. So we want this to reach the patient, to benefit the patient, and for this we need to interest industry, and they need a patent, otherwise they won't invest. What we're hoping to develop with the proteomics is like a powerful radar, where we can see precisely the disease that the given patient has, how they should be treated, and whether the treatment has an effect. So instead of flying blind, we're flying with a very powerful radar. Our dream is that this will be the future of medicine.
For scientists working in the field of cancer, early detection can be the holy grail to save millions of lives.
More than 90% of patients with cancer die because of metastasis. The cells coming from invasive tumor circulate in the blood to other organs. If we could detect those wandering tumor cells before metastasis occur, we could then stop the process and save the patients. The challenge was detecting those extremely rare circulating tumor cells. In 10 ml of blood, which is the volume of a spoon, we have 50 billion blood cells, but perhaps only one or few tumor cells. This is like finding one person out of the population of 7 planets Earth. we needed to find the right way to pre-treat the blood and the right combinations of conditions to be able to filter the blood and extract those rare tumor cells in a very sensitive manner. And this is ISET. To bring this invention to the patients, we set up a company. And for this, the patent was absolutely essential. It helped to raise money and to serve our aim of saving lives. Our work just opened a window into a new domain of medicine, non-invasive and predictive oncology. When the time comes for me to look back on my life, I want to be able to say that I did all what I could to improve cancer patients' lives.
To present the award in the research category, I would like to invite on stage Monsieur Christian Archambault, Executive Director of the European Union Intellectual Property Office.
And the winner of the European Inventor Award 2019 in the category Research goes to Jérôme Gallon.
Big round of applause for our winner in the research category. Dr. Jérôme Gallon, please come up on stage. Félicitations, Dr. Gallon. Now, with hindsight, it seems quite obvious that measuring a patient's immune response should be an integral part of a doctor's assessment of a cancer's development. Now, why did it take so long, in your opinion, to change minds?
Oh, actually, yeah, it's changing completely the field of cancer, because oncologists, geneticists, they were all focusing on tumor cells and tumor cell alteration. So for long, the immune system was not considered to play any role for cancer. So it's been a long journey, because it's been hundreds of years that we are trying to demonstrate that the immune system is indeed playing a major role, which was what we could basically do with Immunoscore. And now that there are immunotherapies that are so efficient, that are basically reboosting our immune system, now we see that we can save patients' life. So it's a real complete change in cancer now.
Yeah. Now, in your team, there were many different people with many different skills. How important was the multidisciplinary approach in creating Immunoscore?
Well, essential, because we applied new technologies, we applied high-throughput methods, we needed bioinformaticians, we needed biostatisticians, we needed, of course, all the clinicians, immunologists. So, yeah, research cannot be done alone, so it's very important to have very expert people in many different disciplines to be able to tackle and demonstrate new findings.
Yeah. And what roles have patents played in developing the invention?
For the development of the invention, I would say it's more for the next step, that is the creation of the company, to have investors, really believing that they are protected. So for investors, it's very important. And so we could create the company because we had those patents.
Now, oncologists around the world are set to adopt Immunoscore as the benchmark test for colon cancer. Is this just the beginning?
I think it's just the beginning, yes. We had this huge international validation first on colon cancer, but we already have multiple data on multiple other cancer types. So we know that this is also very active and very essential for many, many cancer types. The immune system basically is working for any type of tumors.
So, yeah. All right, thank you very much. Congratulations again. Big round of applause. Please step over here. Ici, Dr. Gallon. Voilà, ici. Derrière cette ligne-là. Parfait. Immunoscore is giving clinicians far better insights into the progress of cancers and therefore treatment options. It's a real game changer. and his improved cancer prognosis is well on the way becoming the new global standard. Ladies and gentlemen, as we have already seen two of these beautiful trophies, let me explain that the design for the trophies is refreshed every year. This year, we have been inspired by an important economic resource from Austria. Our film will explain more. We hope you will enjoy it.
Innovations transform our world. To reflect this, the trophy is redesigned every year. The basic form of the sail, symbol for human ingenuity, remains the same, but materials and manufacturing technologies change. This makes the trophy for the European Inventor Award an ingenious work of art itself. In the past, we used diverse materials like porcelain, Portuguese azulejos, Venetian glass, 3D printing. This year, the trophy is made from wood, one of the oldest construction materials. It has been used to fashion tools, structures, furniture and ornaments for millennia in every human society. Trees not only keep the ecosystem balanced, transforming CO2 into oxygen, they also play a major role in the economy of Austria.
The trophy this year shows perfectly our technology, how to produce lightweight structures with a traditional and sustainable material, with wood.
Our patented wooden 3D tubing technology starts on a computer. Means we use topology optimization to calculate the inner structure, and then we have maximum stiffness and maximum strength. For each category, we choose different types of wood, all native to Europe.
The production process starts with the membrane press. We use this machine for pressing very thin layers of wood in a specific shape. After this first step, we have the perfect fiber orientation for the latest structure.
To have a lightweight object, we mill it out and leave here some struts to have a stiff and stable structure.
Because of the very complex shape of the trophy, we have to produce them in two parts, the front and the back. Those parts we will glue together, and after that we finish it and do the engraving with the laser. After 1 day of production for each sail, the trophies are ready to honor the most genius and creative minds of our time at the ceremony in Vienna.
Wow, aren't they impressive? And amazing to learn that even today, wood can be engineered in innovative ways. I'm sure you're now even more curious to find out who will receive the next one. The EPO serves innovators from all over the world. They received 175,000 applications last year. But just over half of these came from inventors outside of Europe. So now we're very pleased to introduce some of the most astonishing inventors from countries which are not one of the EPO's 38 member states. The nominees are, from Israel, Amnon Shashua and the Mobileye team, represented today by team member Gideon Stein. From Japan, Akira Yoshino. And from the USA, Evan Bayer and Gavin McIntyre. Now let's take a look at their inventions.
Thanks to one invention, over 30 million cars worldwide are safer to drive, saving millions of lives.
How can we engineers save lives? By enabling cars to see.
The system sees what the driver sees. It sees the road ahead, vehicles, pedestrians, lane markings, traffic signs, traffic lights.
At the time, I experienced clear interest from the industry for a driving assistant system. They thought they needed radars, laser rangefinders, stereo camera systems, all these complicated systems. Coming from the field of computer vision and artificial intelligence, we understood that we can make this work with a single camera, by that reducing cost, make the system work better, and as a result, have it on every car.
So this is the basic system. So we have here the camera sensor and the lens. So this is the camera part. And then this is our IQ processor on the board. And this is the complete system. It does everything. There are two applications. One is headway monitoring, keeping a safe distance from the vehicle ahead. There we need to measure the distance, and we use perspective. We look for the bottom of the target, being the vehicle or the pedestrian, the bottom of the target in the image, and the distance from the horizon. It's a bit more complicated than that, but that's the basic idea. The second application is working out the time to collision. And there we look at the expansion of the target in the image, and that tells us something about when we are going to collide.
We were really formed in a garage, but through a series of inventions, we were ahead of everyone else. We filed patents, we improved the technology, and today we are over 1,000 employees. Most global car manufacturers have chosen our driving assistance system. Our goal is Vision Zero, eliminating the human factor behind traffic accidents and traffic fatalities. We're out there today, we are in cars today, and we're saving lives today.
None of us can deny the global impact of this invention. Some 5 billion people are using it every day, everywhere.
The lithium-ion battery has changed the world. It powers our modern society. I feel very honored to see my invention in everybody's hand. Before doing research, I always try to consider what the world really needs. In the 1980s, portable devices came into fashion. Until then, all the rechargeable batteries, they are heavy and limited to 1.5 volts. I invented the combination of lithium cobalt oxide cathode with carbon anode. I developed a new organic electrolyte and a new electrode configuration using metal foil. The lithium ions just go back and forth between cathode and anode without any chemical reaction. So, the battery can be recharged many times. I developed a separator membrane that melts if the battery gets too hot, acting like a fuse. My invention have led to many patents for Asahi Kasei. The patents are not used to keep people out. Rather, we license our patent to encourage many other manufacturers to use our technology. I have been refining batteries for over 40 years. My latest innovations are for batteries for electric vehicles, and these, I hope, will change the world again.
Patents are often crucial for startups and SMEs, particularly in this case. They've honed in on a new domain in material science. It is based on strong ecological roots and has the potential to branch in many directions.
During the final year of our mechanical engineering studies, we took a course called Inventor Studio, which had 3 goals.
Develop a technology that could have a sustainable impact on the planet.
Invent something that could be patented.
And start a company.
That's exactly what Eben and I did.
I grew up on a farm where I learned the importance of valuing the earth. We had been looking for a solution to single-use plastics when we stumbled upon mycelium, and it's what you'd find if you were to look beneath a mushroom, and it's these billions and billions of tiny little fibers, and you can kind of think of it as one of nature's biopolymers or plastics.
Mycelium is a natural adhesive. It grows on and binds particles together.
We thought, that's it. We can use mycelium to grow replacements for plastics.
Our process begins with locally sourced agricultural waste, which we mix together with trace amounts of mycelium. Over the course of just 4 days, the mycelium grows, transforming that waste into a product, which we then dry, render it inactive, and it's ready for shipment. So what can you do with mycelium materials? You can grow protective packaging materials that have really unique performance attributes. They have high strength, home compostability, and are grown with just a fraction of the energy.
We started here because single-use plastics are rapidly becoming a worldwide problem, both inside of our cities as well as bioaccumulating in our forests and oceans.
Our patent portfolio has been incredibly important for us as a technology provider, allowing us to license our technology internationally to extend our footprint beyond just upstate New York. From Inventor Studio, our business has continued to grow, very similar to mycelium.
Our mission is to grow better materials that are compatible with planet Earth.
And patents have helped our growth too.
To present the award in the non-EPO countries category, I would like to invite on stage Mr. Bernardo Calzadilla Sarmiento, Director of the Department of Trade, Investment and Innovation at the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, UNIDO.
The European Inventor Award 2019 in the category non-EPO goes to Akira Yoshino.
Big round of applause for our winner in the non-EPO countries category, Dr. Akira Yoshino. Please come on stage. We have a live translator. Yoshino Hakase, omedetou gozaimasu.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
Could you step forward a little bit into the light? Thank you. Now, a battery that can be recharged again and again and again.
Yeah.
Now, that used to be the stuff of science fiction, and it was unthinkable before your invention. How did that breakthrough make you feel when it actually happened? Do you remember?
繰り返し充電可能なバッテリーが発明されたというのもサイエンスフィクションのようなもので、実際にこのバッテリーが初めて機能したときにどういうふうにお感じになられました？
はい、電池の場合はですね、ちゃんとした電池ができると、充電していきますと電圧がこう上がってまいります。で、その電圧がちゃんとキープできるかどうかが一番大事なんですね。で、最初にリチウムイオン電池の充電したときに電圧がずっと保持されていたということが非常に印象に残っております。
Well, the most important thing with the battery is once it's charged, that charge level should maintain. And when I first saw it with my lithium-ion battery, that it really stayed on a stable level, that was when I knew that I've succeeded it, and that was wonderful.
Great. So, just imagine. Now, you've stayed in this field since the 1980s, creating new inventions. Now, what was your motivation to stay in that same field?
1980年代以来ずっとこの研究を続けてらっしゃる、新しい発明をどんどんされてきて、何が動機づけだったんでしょうか。
一言で言えば好奇心だと思います。
In one word, curiosity.
That's a very good quality for an inventor. Now, patents have allowed you to keep focusing on research and development by licensing the patent out to battery manufacturers. Was that a conscious decision?
特許を捉えたことによって、研究開発、ライセンスを出されるというやり方を取ることによって、研究開発の方にご自身はフォーカスを当てることがずっとできてきたという、これはその意思的なる、意図的なるご決定だったんです。
そうですね。一番大きな理由はリチウムイオン電池のマーケットを広げるために、積極的にライセンスした方がいいだろうということだと思います。
The decision was to actively license my patents in order to expand the market, establish and expand the market, to make it, to popularize it. And that was my decision.
Now, how soon do you think that all road vehicles will be battery powered? And what do you think are the barriers that keep us from reaching this goal?
道路の自動車が全部電気自動車になるには、どのくらい時間かかると思いですか。そしてそれを今阻んでいるものがあるとしたら、何が障壁になってますか。
私は意外と早いと思ってます。2030年あるいは2035年あたりには相当電気自動車に変わっていると思います。
I reckon that it would be quite soon, say by 2030, 2035. I think loads of cars will run on EV, electric vehicle.
And what will be the barriers? What does he think?
何か阻んでいるものがあるとすれば、今障壁
大きな課題としては、一つは電池のコストですね。それから2番目は1回の充電でどれぐらい走れるかという走行距離の問題です。この2つが今大きな課題だと思います。
Well, two biggest issues at the moment is the cost of the battery itself, and the second one is the running distance, how far the coverage, how far it will last.
Well, I'm sure with your inventions we're going to get there eventually.
Yeah.
Congratulations again. Please step over here for the pictures. Dr. Akira Yoshino, he just never stopped, invention after invention after invention, for decades to give us the battery that we all rely on. Please retake your seats. It is often said that small and medium-sized enterprises are the engine of innovation in Europe. So let us now continue by honoring inventors from this vital and dynamic sector of the economy. The nominees in this category are from Norway, Esben Beck. From the United Kingdom, Richard Palmer and Philip Green. And from the Netherlands, Rick Breuer. And now, let's take a look at their achievements.
Esben Beck's invention is remarkable because it uses a science fiction solution to address a problem that is just 15 millimeters big, however, causes an economical damage of more than 1 billion euros annually just to a single industry in just a single country.
Here we can see a lot of salmon swimming by our lasers, having their lice removed. They keep coming back and back all the time, so they probably like it. total cost of fighting sea lice in Norway is between 1 to 1.5 billion euros each year. Optical delousing, which is my invention, solves this sea lice problem without having to use any chemicals, and it also provides better fish welfare. Our system uses stereo cameras, a powerful laser source, and very fast mirrors to direct the laser beam. And once our software recognizes a sea lice on a salmon swimming by, we shoot it with the laser. We only have a few milliseconds. We are using our own algorithms, neural networks, and artificial intelligence to recognize the sea lice. Back in 2008-2009, my engineering company started to note the effects of the financial crisis. Being a supplier to the oil and gas industry was not easy at that time, and I decided to look for other businesses. I cannot tell you where the idea came from. It just came out of the blue once I learned about the sea lice. We went to the local store and bought a salmon, and we tried to stick the sea lice onto the salmon, and we had a borrowed laser that we fired on the sea lice, and we saw that the lice was killed, and then we knew we got something here. As an inventor, one of the most motivational factors is when people tell you this can't be done. That starts a fire inside the head of an inventor, and you want to show them that yes, this can be done. It's been a long and tough project, but now we have come to the point where we have happy employees, happy customers, happy consumers, and most important of all, happy salmon.
They suffered setbacks early on, but now their material is used widely. I think the perseverance and the use of patent information is an example for all inventors.
D3O is an almost magical material. It's soft and flexible, so it can move with you, but it instantaneously locks together on impact to protect you, and then, straight afterwards, returns to its flexible state.
Some liquids exhibit dilatant properties, such as cornstarch and water. If you move them slowly, they behave like a liquid, but if you move them quickly, they behave more like a solid.
The material we based our technology on has actually been around for a very long time, and amazingly, it's never really found a commercial application apart from in children's toys.
Dilatant materials really fascinated us, and we knew that there was some opportunity to invent something new with these remarkable materials. The problem with these materials are that they are liquids, and you need some sort of container to keep them where you want them.
And we realised that instead of trying to contain a liquid like a bottle of water, why don't we put the water into the composition of the material itself?
So not having any lab equipment at our disposal, we immediately went back into the kitchen and started to try and get the dilatant material to impregnate into an open cell foam.
We had a really terrible moment at one point where I was doing some more web research on patents, and I actually discovered a Japanese patent doing exactly what we were doing. And we had to suddenly go back to the drawing board, go back to our ideas and say, how can we solve this problem even better?
So we had no other option as to hunker down into the lab and spend many hours to try and find a solution, which we did.
Now we finally had it in our hands. We refiled the patent, raised funding based upon the patent and the product, and started a successful business journey.
We can learn a lot from nature. In this example, biomimicry is helping us to maintain a healthy marine ecosystem while enabling fuel-efficient shipping.
Nature is a big inspiration for an inventor. For example, look at this sea urchin. It always lives underwater, and it stays free of any kind of organisms. It's amazing. Here is a completely different story. Barnacles and mussels stick to the hull of a ship. It's an enormous problem for ships. The typical solution is to use anti-fouling paints. But each year, these toxic paints spill 50,000 tons of chemicals into the sea. I developed these spiny surfaces based on fibers that are the basis for my patent. The challenge was to find the right balance between length, thickness, stiffness and density of the fibers. After many test runs, it worked quite well and I applied for a patent immediately. The patent was key to the business development. It helps me to have doctor on my business card. In the same way, the patent gives me credibility. It shows that there's more behind my invention than just a crazy inventor. This rep is really a game changer and a breakthrough for the environment. It's a self-adhesive film with fibers attached to it. It prevents biofouling without any toxins. It can easily be applied to the hull of a ship, and it can easily be removed as well. Just use high-pressure washers without any chemicals. And it can lead to fuel savings as well. People think the smoother the surface, the faster it will go, but that's not the case. This solution works for yachts as well as for big vessels. And with my next invention, based on the skin of an otter, I will further increase the fuel savings. If I look into my heart, I'm an inventor. It's not about making profit. It's about getting the product out there. And most of all, it's about getting the toxins out of the market.
To present the award in the small and medium-sized enterprises category, I would like to invite on stage Ms. Ulrike Rabmer-Koller, Chair of the Jury, President of SME United and Vice President of the Austrian Federal Chamber of Commerce.
The European Inventor Award 2019 in the category Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises goes to Rick Breuer.
Congratulations. Please come up on stage. Big round of applause for Rick Breuer. Rick Breuer, hartelijk gefeliciteerd.
Dankjewel.
Now, your invention was based on nature, on the principle of the sea urchin principle. Why do you think it took so long for anyone to find out that this can be used as a basis for an invention?
Yeah, why does it take so long? It didn't take a very long time not to find that this principle is possible, but it takes a long time for someone to really pursue and keep on going and make it into a product.
Now, your fiber wrap can be applied to sea vessels, but also to static structures, such as harbor facilities or oil rigs. Where do you think is the best application?
Good question. In principle, the best application is where the most chemicals are used. Yeah, so for the big vessels, the big container vessels, for example, they spill the most of the chemicals into the water. So that's the best application. It's not the most logical application at the moment because these companies, they are less aware of the environment. So that's why consumer marketing at the moment is the best place to do it, because people do care nowadays.
Now, with this amazing impact that it can have on sea pollution worldwide, how will you actually get it out there to the sea vessels around the world?
That's the biggest challenge I'm facing at the moment. I mean, even now, with only the nomination, I'm already getting requests from Australia, from Canada, from Brazil, all around the world. So that's the biggest challenge now, to develop a network to get it out there and to get it onto the ships.
Mm-hmm. Now, you being not even a small enterprise, but a micro enterprise, it's just you. Now, how important micro? Yes, maybe the wrong choice of words. But I imagine patents must have been really important for you to keep going.
Yeah, for sure. That's one of the main safeguards for your technology. I mean, my competitors are multi-billion companies. So when you have the patents you release, you've safeguarded that your technology is safe. So that helps a lot. And Yeah, I mean, I'm a small company, only one person at the moment, but of course I'm not doing it alone. I have a lot of people, suppliers, but also former colleagues that work together with me. So that's also a way to work together. That's also a really good way to get something really big out there.
Yeah. Now, for your next invention, you've taken inspiration from another sea animal, from the sea otter. Do you have a sea life encyclopedia on your bedside table?
Nah, it's a combination. I mean, you look at sea, you look at the animals and see how they perform, how they look like, and then combining the results you find in the field with your products, combine that with what other creatures are there, and then you make the analogy with the sea otter, for example, in this case.
Yeah, seems to make sense. All right, thank you very much. Please step over for the pictures. So Rick Breuer is a prime example of an agile light investor armed with a European patent and an amazing inspiration taken from nature to reduce pollution in the seas. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before we arrive to the last two categories, we'd like to take a pause to catch our breath. Get ready for a thrilling performance where classicism becomes innovation.
Ist du mir nun ganz gegeben? Nun so sei mein liebes Weibchen. Nun so sei mein Herzensweibchen. Mein liebes Weibchen, mein liebes Weibchen. Welche Freude wird das sein? Wenn die Götter uns bedenken. Unsere liebe Kinder schenken. Unsere liebe Kinder schenken. So liebe kleine Kinderlein, Kinderlein. Kinderlein, Kinderlein, so liebe kleine Kinderlein, so liebe kleine Kinderlein. Welcome to Vienna.
Der mich gefangen hat, trieb mich durch mein Leben, hat mir alles gegeben. Ich bin in ever love mit dieser coolen City. Und Mozart ist mein Held und alles wurde pretty on. Und alles wurde pretty on. Und alles wurde pretty. Ob Klassik oder Punk, sei mir elegant. Egal ob jung oder alt, sehr smart und charmant. Egal ob Klassik oder Punk, sei immer elegant. Egal ob jung oder alt, sehr smart und charmant.
what a great contrast between classical opera and innovative contemporary art. Great thank you to our artists for this amazing performance. A big round of applause. It is now time to devote our attention to a special category, the Popular Prize. Over the last 6 weeks, the public have been voting online for their favorite out of all 15 finalists. By voting on the EPO website, almost 15,000 votes were cast, and 3 finalists in particular captured the imagination of the public, attracting almost 30% of the total vote between them. But who came out on top? Well, for the announcement of the Popular Prize, I would like to invite on stage Mr. Josef Kratochwil, President of the Czech Industrial Property Office and Chairman of the Administrative Council of the European Patent Organization. And now, let us remind ourselves who the 15 finalists are, including 3 we have not yet met.
The finalists of the European Inventor Award 2019 are Klaus Feichtinger and Manfred Hackel, Higher Performance Plastic Recycling. Antonio Corredor and Carlos Fermin Menendez, Concrete Mold for Better Breakwaters. Alexander van der Lely and Karel van den Berg, Milking Robots for Healthier Cows. Jérôme Gallon, Immunoscore, a clearer cancer test. Matthias Mann, protein analysis to diagnose disease. Patrizia Patellini-Brechot, ISET blood filtration to detect tumor cells. Eben Bayer and Gavin McIntyre, eco-friendly packaging from mushrooms. Amnon Shashua and the Mobileye team, vision for vehicles to improve road safety. Akira Yoshino, lithium-ion battery and its evolution. Esben Beck, lasers and AI for healthier salmon. Rick Breuer, marine anti-fouling fiber wrap. Richard Palmer and Philip Green, flexible armor that hardens on impact. Margarita Salas Falgueras, DNA amplification for genomics. Maximilian Haider, sharper electron microscopes. Marta Karchevich, advances in video compression.
Ladies and gentlemen, the European Inventor Award 2019 in the category Popular Prize goes to Margarita Salas Falgueras.
Professora Margarita Salas Falgueras, big round of applause, the winner of the Popular Prize. Por favor, suba al escenario. Profesora Salas, enhorabuena.
Muchas gracias.
Now, the audience have not yet had the benefit of seeing our short film about you. That will come in a minute. Could you tell us briefly, why is DNA amplification important? What is it good for?
Well, the amplification is important when you have very small amounts of DNA, tiny amounts of DNA that you cannot sequence, you cannot study. Then the F29 DNA polymerase makes millions of copies of this DNA, so that now you can sequence it, study it, and analyze it.
Thank you. That was a very succinct description. Now, I'm sure there's much more behind it. Now, you went to New York to work with Spanish Nobel Prize winner Severo Ochoa in the 1960s.
Yes.
When you came back to Spain, you went on to establish a biochemistry center from scratch. What were the main challenges at the time?
Well, at the time was to introduce molecular biology in Spain. That was not existence. So my husband, Eladio Viñuela, and myself came back and developed the molecular biology that we had learned in Severo Ochoa's lab.
Mm-hmm. Now, Your invention has brought in millions of euros to the Spanish National Research Council. How important do you think it is for money from revenues coming from research to go back into funding bodies?
Well, this money it was very important. I mean, not only for the Spanish National Research Council, that was the owner of the patent, but also for the inventors and also for our lab and our center. So we all benefit from this, for this money obtained from this patent.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you. A big round of applause. Professor Salas, please. Over here for the pictures. Face this way. Margarita Salas, the Spanish national treasure who has done so much to advance biochemistry and genetic research in her home country. Ladies and gentlemen, the time has come for our final category, Lifetime Achievement. As this title suggests, our final trio of finalists have all dedicated their entire lives to generating not just one or even a few patents. Between them, they have been named on over 200 of them. All of them have dedicated many years to their own particular field, be it biochemistry, electron microscopy, or video codecs. All of them have been tireless and inspirational. Let's meet them. Our finalists for the Lifetime Achievement Award 2019 are, from Spain, Margarita Salas Falgueras. From Austria, Maximilian Haider. And from Poland, Marta Karczewicz. Now let's look at the three films presenting their extraordinary lives.
Margarita Salas is not just a scientist who enabled modern DNA testing. She has championed for women in science for over 5 decades. She's a role model for all of us.
Can you listen? In order to listen, one has to amplify. If the sound is low, one needs to amplify it. And it's just like in the case of the DNA. If one has a very small amount of DNA, for example, even a single molecule, one needs to amplify it in order to sequence and to study the DNA. My most important invention was the use of the Fi29 DNA polymerase for DNA amplification. It is widely used in biotechnology and in medicine. When I finished my PhD thesis, I decided to go to New York with the Nobel Prize winner, Severo Ochoa, where I spent 3 years. When we came back to Spain, my husband and myself, we started the Fi29 work together. After a few years, my husband, that was very generous and wanted me to be independent, decided to quit the Fi29 work and start a new work by himself so that I could be independent for the Fi29 work. From that time on, I just became Margarita Salas and not my husband's wife. When I presented the work on the phage Fi29 DNA polymerase, USB, asked me whether I was going to patent the polymerase, and I said yes. So they helped me with the patent. The patent was very profitable from the economic point of view. For me, research is really a passion. I do not conceive life without research. So I hope to be able to keep going for many, many years from now.
As scientists, we often want to explore and understand a world that is too small for the eye to see. The ability to bring a single atom into clear focus has changed the path of science forever.
This puzzle in microscopy was about 6 decades old. To solve this, we needed a better lens. Using beams of lights has its limits. In order to really see small things, we use beams of electrons. For decades, there was a problem. The images out from electron microscopes were about 100 times worse than their theoretical performance. Why were the images so out of focus? The problem itself was obvious, but the solution proposed in 1948 was just a theory. No one knew how to build the right corrector, a lens for electron beams. This was extremely motivating for me to take on this challenging old puzzle. It was after midnight in June 1997. We were working day and night because we were running out of money and time for our research. But that one night, we achieved a breakthrough, got a sharp image even down to 1.2 angstrom, about the size of an atom. Now we can really see atoms. We can see how they are moving and interacting with each other. This was a tremendous moment for science and a very big moment for me. We immediately applied for a patent and we established a company. Our correctors are today found in 90% of all transmission electron microscopes around the world, producing sharper images in the atomic range.
Since the invention of motion pictures, there have been relatively few inventions in the field of video and television. One of them is the adding of sound to movies in the 30s. Another one is the technology of video compression, which allows us to handle an enormous amount of video data in an efficient manner.
Without my invention, what you would be watching are videos of resolutions maybe 200 by 200 pixels and very few frames per second. The only way to deliver high-quality video is to compress it. Video compression is based on modeling the motion between different frames and modeling the correlation between the pixels within the same frame. Last 20 years, I have been working on almost every part of the modern video codec, contributed hundreds of methods to improve them. Finally, I found my way to USA, and I'm currently working for Qualcomm. This is a company which understands long-term research. When I'm at work, I'm usually analyzing the problem, but I notice that the solution really comes to my mind when I'm outside. When we develop new methods and algorithms, we of course do patent them, but almost immediately we bring them to standardization forums. We want to inspire other engineers to improve them further, because standardization forums foster both collaboration and competition. Currently, I am contributing to VVC standardization, which is supposed to finish mid of next year. And and provide another 35% rate reduction over HEVC. I'm especially proud to work on this standardization because I believe that both me and my team contributed to launching the standardization effort.
To present the award in the Lifetime Achievement category, I would like to invite on stage Professor Ursula Keller, winner of the Lifetime Achievement Award last year and member of the jury.
The winner in the category of Lifetime Achievement is Margarita Salas Falguera.
Professora Salas, please come on stage. Again, a first in the history of the European Inventor Award, a double winner. Congratulations. Profesora Salas, enhorabuena otra vez. Welcome back on stage.
I am amazed. I am amazed.
Now, it's great to know that the public and the jury agree. So let's pick up our conversation where we left off. Now, you were studying one bacteriophage Phi-29 for a very long time.
Right.
Why this one? Were you ever wondering whether you were spending your time on the right one?
Yeah, we have been working with phage Phi-29 for over 50 years now. And the reason to choose this phage is because of its small size, so that we could develop the molecular biology in Spain, the one that we had learned in New York with Severo Ochoa.
So how do you see your research going in the future to shape fields like genetics, healthcare, and other fields?
Well, the DNA polymerase induced by the phage when it infects the bacteria has many, many applications for, as we have said, for DNA amplification, for genetic analysis, for forensic studies, for paleontological studies. So it's really very, very widely used.
Very versatile. Now, you've had a very esteemed and long career. What were your most memorable moments?
Well, I don't know. I think I have different important findings and important memories. For example, when we saw the properties of this DNA polymerase, then we thought, well, this may be used for DNA amplification. So we really decided to patent the polymerase, and well, it gave very, very, very nice results. We think that the phage Phi-29 DNA polymerase is the best polymerase in the world.
Great. And
that is what we say.
Now, I hope that this will also be a good memory in the future for you. Thank you very much. Big round of applause for our Lifetime Achievement Award winner, Profesora Salas. Her patent on the Phi-29 polymerase for DNA amplification brought in over 6 million euros for the Spanish National Research Council. Now, please remain on stage. Oh, Frau Keller, Professor, could you please come back on stage? Señora Salas, por favor, quédese en el escenario. Hacemos unas fotos. It is time for the official group photos. Very quick. Now, for the official group photo, I would also like to invite on stage the President of the European Patent Office, Mr. Antonio Campinos, as well as all of today's winners with their beautiful trophies. And could someone also bring Professor Salas' Popular Prize trophy on stage? This side. Yes, don't forget your trophy. Können Sie sich hier? the 2019 European Inventor Award. Please look at the photographer. And a big smile. I'd like to take this opportunity to also express our thanks to all the presenters of the different categories and to our jury members. And last but not least, our host, the President of the European Patent Office, Mr. Antonio Campinos. Obrigado. Muito obrigado. Now, to further capture this special occasion, we would like to invite on stage all of the finalists of the 2019 European Inventor Award. Please come up on stage. Face that way. Remember that these are the very best out of over 475 high-caliber proposals submitted to the European Patent Office last year. So congratulations again to all of you, all our finalists and winners of 2019. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the 2019 European Inventor Awards ceremony. We have seen great inventions and we have met the inspirational men and women behind these inventions. So we hope to see most of you next year again. Thank you again, everyone, and congratulations. And to all of you watching this broadcast, we hope that you have enjoyed it as much as we have here in Vienna. Thank you and goodbye. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, you're now all cordially invited to join us for lunch outside in the foyer. Thank you.